It's time to speak your mind and speak easy with Sheila and Denise.
They've already seen it. You're live. Here we are. Hey, everyone.
See, we can. This is the fun thing about live television or live Facebook Live is that we were just talking and then we just thought, oh hey, let's just start the show now. Why not? Right?
Are we all blurry, or
Yeah.
is that
No,
Are they?
no.
Are they seeing us blurry?
No.
Okay.
See, I mean, so what I'm gonna do is I've got to make this. I'll do full screen so that we'll look.
There we are. Oh, it's a little too big right now.
So welcome to our episode. And this is the beautiful and talented Beverly Blanchette.
And funny. Oh, go on.
And funny.
I mean, really go on.
And I'm going to start here because I have known you almost. It's 40 years this year that I've been knowing you.
Frightening.
Yep.
Oh my God. And I'm just meeting her.
And the cool
I don't
thing
think I have another 40 years for you. So.
Because I moved down here in 1986.
Mm-hmm.
That was when I moved
And that's
down.
when we moved to the theory in 86.
Oh my God. And then you were teaching at Santa Lucia's High School.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk a little bit about we're gonna start a little bit about that. Like how everybody knows that Denise is a teacher. So Denise is going to give us some little teaching tidbits here too.
Well, first, congratulations, Palm Beach school teachers.
Yes,
we've got our 3.5.
Yay.
I mean, it's not much, but we can eat at McDonald's. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, we're happy. We fought hard, and for all the people that fought when I couldn't fight because I was working my second job, thank you, and I salute you.
And then you have something else to say.
Yeah, I have something really big to share, and I'm very excited about it. So yesterday was 10 years being cancer-free from breast cancer. And I couldn't be happier. I'm healthy now. I've lost 11.5 pounds already.
Yes.
I'm on a fitness journey. Trying to stay away from sweets because I am a sugar addict. And just feeling good about things, taking lots of adventures, going on trips, just, hanging out, being happy and learning that, life is short. You just have to grab it, by the reins and do things. And if you want to hear more about my cancer journey, and I have to get my book started, you have to get up. Okay, if you want to read more about it, you can read my book, Quiet as a Fire, Silent as a Flame, my so-called relationship with cancer. I don't know if you can see it. It's on Amazon, and it highlights my journey, lows, highs, and everything in between. It's a very poignant book. It's a book that I was told that I should write after I went through all that. So definitely check it out for someone that you love that either had cancer, has cancer, or just to learn more about what people are going through. It's very raw. It's a really good book, and it's my first book that I had published.
I love that book. As a matter of fact, I love that book, and there's two of them. I've read all of Denise's books, of course, and this book is just there's something about it. There's something that touches you in this book, and you guys would really enjoy it.
Thank you.
And we're going to really enjoy our next guest here, Beverly Blanchette. Let's talk about
blondes. I just realized song great.
Yeah, 3 non-blondes.
3 non. Oh, forget it then. No, we're not going there. Getting my hair done on the weekend.
There's big, blonde, and beautiful from Hairspray.
Okay,
that's right.
But we don't put together. We'll take the big off.
So what are you most famous for, Bev? What is something that we can tell people? Oh, this is Beverly Blanchette. What is she most famous for?
What am I famous? Well, I don't know that I'm famous, but I think I may be most known for my teaching career.
Yeah,
because that was 35 years.
Another teacher.
Yes. And I'm sorry, my eyes are watering because I put
tell them
in my eye today instead of the lubricant. So anyway, yes, probably I'm best known for my teaching career.
Mm-hmm. But you're also
and she looks great, even all those years of teaching.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
There's hope for me.
So, okay, now let's talk about because you've been a teacher for 35 years, some of the students that you've taught.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fascinated with this. Never mind the fact that I'm a former student. Yes.
Author, dog owner, homeowner.
There we go.
Person.
So tell us some of the famous people that you've, because there are a lot of them, and there's quite a few that people go, who? Oh my God! Yeah. Like, did you really teach that person? Mm-hmm. Tell me more about those people.
Well, I taught at 4 different schools in the state. And I started out in Tallahassee fresh out of FSU. And I was very lucky. I graduated and walked right into a job. And I taught there, I think, 7 or 8 years, then moved to Vero Beach, taught at Vero Beach High School. Then we moved to this area and I taught at Santa Lucis. I think that was 9 years.
Wow.
Nobody do the math. And I was at the Dreyfus School of the Arts for 20 years. So, over
really? She looks so young, right?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, 20 years. And, there are students who have gone on to continue in the performing arts in one way or in another as actors, directors, technicians, designers, playwrights, screenwriters, and not all of them who have been working are household names, but they're working in the business, and I'm really, really proud of them. Probably the most well-known are Reed Ewing. Hi, Reed, and Aaron Krakow. Reed played Dylan on Modern Family.
Hilarious.
And,
I like that.
yeah. I didn't even know that he was on it. I started. He was the boyfriend.
The boyfriend of the girl with dark hair. I forgot her name already. Used to watch
Haley.
it. Haley, yeah. He was funny. He was funny.
Very, very.
Yeah,
funny.
I
I
remember.
didn't know that he was on it, and I was just watching Modern Family, and I'm like,
I love that show.
he was so much him that it was great. He had the male lead in Dames at Sea, which we did at the School of the Arts. And I can remember telling him, Reed, you have to be bigger, louder, bigger, funnier, more, and he had such a natural way of speaking. And I remember at least one time I said, this, you're going to be great for television and film, but for the theater, you've got to be more. And I don't know, maybe that's what did it, but I think that was his junior year. He left school and he went out to LA. And maybe a year or two later, he's on Modern Family.
Oh my God.
That part is so meant for him. That part,
So,
he's
so meant for him. I mean,
so meant for him.
he's much smarter than Dylan, the character. I will
He's
tell you
hysterical.
that. He's a very good actor pretending to be
He
dumb.
must have enjoyed it though, because it's funny. Like
It's so funny. He said that it really was a family, working with them. And I think they were all sad, when the show ended.
They had close ties.
Yeah,
Like,
very, very close. And then the other one who maybe is a household name for those people who pay attention to the Hallmark Channel, Aaron Krakow,
I've heard that name.
is the lead of When Calls the Heart.
Mhm.
I think it's now in their 15th season.
I feel like I used to watch Hallmark movies all the time.
Yeah, well, this is a series, and I tell everyone. She told me that she was going to be doing this TV show and when to watch it. And she said, "I'm going to be in the show with Lori Loughlin," and I thought, oh well. Lori Loughlin's the star, and Aaron is going to be the sidekick. And I go to turn on the show, and the whole opening is all about Aaron, and then like in the end, it's like a little and Lori Loughlin. I was like, oh, there we go. But there have been so many that have had Broadway careers, and we don't always know the Broadway personalities like we do TV and film. But I've had students who, I've had several in Wicked. I've now seen Wicked 6 times because I feel like I have to see it every time a former student is in it.
I've only seen the movie. I really want to see the show. Really
the show
badly.
is amazing. The first time I saw it, I looked at it and I thought, I wish I wrote this. It's so clever. It's so clever. So, several students have been in Wicked. Eddie Pendergraft was in Wicked for 10 years.
Wow.
A Dreyfus student. I didn't actually teach her because I think she was a freshman when I was getting ready to graduate or retire. But Talia Suskauer was in the tour of Wicked, and then she ended up as Elphaba on Broadway.
Wow.
And
I love that character.
Yes, Christina Fernandez was in it, and I'm sorry if I'm forgetting anybody, but I've seen it so many times, so I could see my students. And Mike Scarrato was in Chicago, the Broadway Chicago. For 10 years.
But I thought it's something important to ask you because I was looking at the responses here. Do you sing also? Because you were talking about musicals. Do you sing?
I wish I did. I have
Just curious.
taken voice lessons, and the voice teachers have said, You're not terrible.
We don't hate it.
And that is,
I feel like you
maybe,
could.
maybe there's hope.
Like I feel like maybe
believe there's a
strengthen your.
singer and a dancer inside of me, but I was never trained.
Yeah, but they say
And
it's a muscle.
that's my excuse. So
But they say it's a muscle.
I wish I could. I was in one musical in my life in college, and that was when I decided I couldn't sing because the director was a funny thing happened on the way to the forum, and I was Panacea, one of the courtesans, and I loved singing, and we're doing comedy tonight, and I'm singing, and I'm, and the director, this one rehearsal, we were all in a line for that number, and he's walking up and down, and he's listening to us. And he stops at me, and he walks away, and he comes back to me, and then he goes, "Beverly, I want you to lip sync the show." And he said, "You have
saying it without saying
you have a lot of enthusiasm, but you're really loud and you're getting everyone else off key, because you're right next to them." And he said it would just be better if you
maybe it was the wrong show for your voice.
Maybe it was the wrong show. I'm pitching myself for Madame Morrible in Wicked.
Wow.
Because
okay,
she doesn't sing a lot, and
That's
I think I can sing that little
I love
song.
that.
So anybody who's going to do Wicked, I'm your Madame Morrible.
Colors.
about that because every time I turn on your Facebook page, I'm in this show, I'm in this show, I'm in that show.
Yeah, and I'm sorry that I do that too. I'm really good at self-promotion.
I do that with my books.
So let's do that. We have to do that.
I tell everyone it's my press agent. My press agent is me. Yeah, so I've been very lucky that I've been performing a lot.
I know, and it's kind of exciting because you were also off Broadway. I
made my off-Broadway debut last summer. I did 2 shows, and they were new shows by these wonderful young writers, and little off-Broadway.
I
shows.
love it. Oh my God.
So is life different as an actor instead of a director? Is it very different?
Oh, it's very different. When I retired from teaching full time, I did enjoy directing so much at the high schools, and I thought I wanted to direct professionally once I retired, and I did, and I think maybe I directed, I want to say about 6 shows, maybe a little more, but it was enjoyable, but it wasn't as enjoyable as when I directed teenagers.
Different animal.
It's a different animal. Teenagers are very eager. They're very enthusiastic. They want to learn.
Energetic.
They take direction. And, when you work with professional actors, of course, they're professional and they know what they're doing. And I am a little heavy-handed as a director, as you may remember. I'm like, turn your head and blink twice and then laugh and then walk 2 steps. And I think the professional actors didn't appreciate that as much. So I didn't find it as fulfilling because I think I'm a teaching director. I teach while I direct, and you don't need to teach people who already know what they're doing. So it wasn't as fulfilling, and
they're not as hungry for the knowledge. They don't appreciate it.
They already have it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So and I probably overstepped my bounds too many times. So anyway, and I have always wanted to be an actress. That was my goal since I was 10 years old, and I saw the movie The Boy with Green Hair, and on Saturday afternoon, old movies, and the young boy, of course, now I can't remember his name. It'll come to me later, but he was so good in that movie, and so interesting. At 10 years old, I wasn't as caught up in the story as much as I was in the little boy and his acting.
Yes.
And I thought right then and there, that's what I want to do. I want to be an actress. And I told my mom that I wanted to be an actress, doing dishes one night. She said, well, you better get a job that will support you because you can't really depend on being an actress.
What if I heard that speech?
Yeah. So with very good advice, I became a theater teacher, but also English and speech. And it's interesting too, because when I would put on little plays in our house in the basement, I was also teaching I would play school. Like, who does that? I would play school. I would get the friends in the neighborhood and I would put them in little desks. I would give them a test, and so I was acting like a teacher, as a kid. So it all just kind of fell into place. And I did do some acting while I was teaching, but I didn't have that much time because I was teaching and raising a family, and it was a lot.
And you went back to school too.
And I went to back to school. You're right. When you were at St. Lucis, I was in graduate school.
Exactly. So that's a lot of stuff. And speaking of family, you have two beautiful daughters, and I must say they are. Yeah, I had the pleasure of knowing both of them, and especially when they were younger. Because I used to babysit for them, which is kind of cute. But
and now we won't say their age.
We won't say their age. We won't say my age either. So
or mine.
What is like what? Both of them are in the business, basically.
Yes, kind of. I taught them at the Dreyfus School of the Arts from 7th grade through 12th grade. Because when the school started, it was 7th through 12th. It wasn't until 1997 that the school split. And then there was the middle school and the high school. So I taught my girls from 7th through 12th grade. It was very hard on both of us because it was like being the preacher's daughter. I was the dean of the department. I was their teacher. And then of course in theater, if they ever got a part in a play or they won an award, there was a little scuttlebutt about, your mom is the dean, whatever. So it was very tough on them. And it was tough on me because I had to work extra hard to be fair. Whenever they auditioned for a play, I didn't make the decisions. I brought other faculty in to make the decisions, so others cast them. But that was hard to see on the outside, and but yeah, Erin has had several businesses. She's a wonderful leader. She wrote a book called Give Yourself a Raise by Beverly Blanchette Haig. So she teaches entrepreneurs how to run their businesses, and her thing is teaching them how to make money, teaching them how to make more money.
I've read her book.
Yeah,
it's very good.
It's a very good book, and it's all about math.
Yes,
but it's funny. But it's funny too. And so I got through it, although I mostly skipped the math part.
But where is the book available?
It's on Amazon.
Okay. I feel like I've heard that title. Like I've heard it.
Give Yourself a Raise. So so she's a leader, and she does these retreats where she's leading and teaching. She's performing as she's teaching. So there's that. And then Megan was a cruise director for Norwegian Cruise Line. Yep. And she is in LA, and she's done a lot of stand-up comedy and improv. And that all
it's all in the family.
It's all in the family. So that all leads into her current job, which is an activities director at a senior living community, and she just loves the people there, and she organizes the bingo games and all of that. So so they're both leaders, they're both teachers, and they're in front of people every day. And that's the other thing I want to say when you ask me about my students and who's famous. I am so proud of all of them, and it's not just the students who have gone on to perform or work in show business, but I think I mentioned to you that I had a student contact me a couple years ago from Vero Beach High School, David, and he said, I just want to let you know that although I work with computers every day, I use what you taught me in that drama classroom every day. And that makes me proud. If my students can carry something on into their lives, and if they have an appreciation for theater, even if they're not doing it, that they're now the theater goers, they have an appreciation for it. That's our goal, I think, as theater teachers.
You lit the light inside them.
To create the audiences of
but the notes from kids people don't realize, like, those are so important. Like, one of my students, I'm not going to say if I like her the best or not, but one of my students had actually listens to me. She listens to me when other kids aren't. She gives me a look like, I can't believe they're not listening to you. One of those. But when I was so busy today helping them with their Mother's Day projects, no, I'm not telling you guys what they are if you're listening to this. So it's doing, and the kids were like just all over the place because we have a different schedule because of testing. So anyway, I saw her leave something on my table. And I didn't look. And then when all the kids left, like, she was like very quiet about it. That's it. It said, it said, "Dear Miss Marsh, you will always be my favorite teacher. You might not be the best teacher next year." Like there might be another teacher that's the best teacher, but you will always be my favorite. It was spelled perfectly. And she's like little hearts around it. And I was like, it was such a rough day. And I'm like, I have to remember to thank her tomorrow. Because it was so sweet how she just left it there very casually, waiting for me to read. She didn't even ask, did you read it? Did you read it? Did you see my picture? Like they all do. But it was just so sweet how she did it. And it makes you feel good.
It does.
Like little things like that.
It's that little spark when you just feel like you cannot do it another day, and then
like you need that to keep
going.
going.
And then something happens,
Fuel.
like that, and you're like, okay, I'll do it for another 34 years.
And she's come every day.
And for me, it's kind of funny because I use the acting that you taught me. I use that in writing the books because I think about what's it going to seem like when this person says something, and I have the subtext going on. The other thing that we used to work on all the time. I always think about.
You do such a good job.
You're creating characters,
exactly,
and you've got a plot, a storyline, like a play,
exactly. So I kind of do that same type of thing because of what I learned from you, and I'm flabbergasted now that I get to talk to you again because I love the fact that you and I have been friends all of this time.
It's been so wonderful. Yeah, really special relationship.
Because you've been there for me when I desperately needed you, and when my mother passed away, you were like one of the first people that called me, and I always remember that. So thank you again because you love my mom
too. This mascara is not waterproof.
But you and my mom were really good friends. And that was
she was real involved. She was a drama mama.
She was a drama mom. And that's the other thing is that you got the parents involved and you got all of those parents involved. We went to state, we went to, Tampa to do our performance of The Nerd, which is a fabulous show, by the way. We had all those parents there.
They had just started, the Florida Thespian Society had just started, showing main stage plays at the Florida State Thespian Festival.
Right.
And we were the first show,
the first
The
one.
Nerd.
Yep.
And downtown Tampa. And it was really very exciting. And that is a whole lesson in itself too, teaching students how to not just do a show, but travel a show.
Yes.
And then we would do a show, put it away, and then would have to do it again to take it to a festival. And so it was relearning the process and then learning how to put up a set in 5 hours and strike it in 2.
Yeah.
And that was the rule throughout, for, I think I may still be, someone may write in and correct me, but I may still have the record for bringing the most main stage shows to the festival.
That is still amazing.
Yeah. And then, were you involved when we did the little shop?
I was there. That was the first year I started. So I was helping out backstage.
Right. That was when I started, 86, 87.
Yep, 87.
And yeah, it was 87 that we took Little Shop of Horrors to the International Thespian Festival.
Yes.
We were the opening night show. Sean Stomsky, who was in that, he played Mr. Mushnick, and he was incredible.
Fabulous.
And he was seen by recruiters from Mary Crest College, and they were doing Little Shop the next year at that school, and they immediately gave him a full ride for 4 years so that he could go there and be Mr. Mushnick.
That's so funny.
And then, talking about success, he went on to study at Second City and to perform at Second City. And he was there with Stephen Colbert and Steve Carell and Tina Fey and Amy Poehler, Rachel Dratch. He was there with all of them. And then he moved to New York and was in Tony and Tina's wedding for years. And then he started his own improv troupe called The Boys in the Bathroom. And I don't know what that refers to, but and then he came home because his grandfather was sick and needed help. And Sean and I had always been in touch too. And he started I started taking improv classes right after I retired because I'm like, if I'm going to get back in this game, I've got to learn what I'm doing. So, and then Sean came in and taught us. So Sean, my student, taught me.
Yes.
And sadly, he passed away a few years ago. I miss him so much because
he was such a sweet person.
We were doing improv once a week, and we did it in a class, and then we perform together. So that's really cool, you know, when everybody grows up. And then I'm on stage with my students. I just finished Bull in a China Shop down at Empire Stage with a new company called Bridge Across the Pond Theater Company, and I was on stage with two of my former students from Dreyfus. And so shout out to you there. But that was so cool. And CO, who is one of them, she saw that we were all nervous. Mostly I was nervous. And I think she sensed that, and she got us all together backstage pre-show. And she led us in warm-up activities. Yeah. And she like goes to the side, she goes, so now the student is teaching the teacher, Bev. And I'm like, okay, don't call me Bev. But I didn't say that. But that's a very, very special thing.
Yes, it is. It's very special.
Special person. I have there's a woman in my school, there's a teacher in my school that I taught her. I actually taught her many years ago, 3rd grade, and the principal came into my classroom to tell the kids. She said she became a teacher because she loved being in Miss Marsh's class about me. She goes, she had her. So I always talked to her, I'm like, remember when you were in 3rd grade? And because I only remember bits and pieces, but we were both saying that there was a boy in the class that used to like, he was not very behaved. He used to like throw things down, have tantrums and everything. And we both, I won't say his name out loud, you know, but we both, we looked at each other. We both said his name. I said, all these years and you still remember the boy. I said, how is that we both remember it? But she's like, she's doing great. You know, she's just, you know, she's lived in Japan before. She's done all these things. But every time I see her, I'm like, I can't believe that I taught her once, you know?
Isn't that neat?
Yeah, it's just amazing.
And I'll add that too, that so many of my students have gone on to teaching, and I'm so proud of them. I tell them all the time, thanks for passing the torch.
Yeah.
And now it's so different.
It's just wonderful to see what they do.
Yeah. Yeah. And I hope that people return to the teaching field. I hope it gets better so that people have the passion to want to return to it. Because they're getting rid of a lot of the teaching classes that people, you know, that just do. They're not even going to have them anymore.
People are worried now about teaching because they've heard all the horror stories about what's happening and has been happening, and the poor pay and the you know,
disrespect.
There's a lot. I don't know that I could do it again right now because I started to notice a change when I got ready to retire. And you know, I always thought I would teach forever because I loved it so much. But things changed.
COVID changed it for me
so much. That would make a huge difference.
The simultaneous teaching, that was so hard.
I can't imagine how difficult that was, and so hard on the kids. My granddaughters, the little one, Parker, started kindergarten
I have a Parker
on a computer. How sad is that?
Well, now they call them, I don't want to say the COVID kids, but now those kids are in 5th grade. So like we could see scores too, like how they did, like you know, there's a difference with how kids did being in that kind of environment and being homeschooled and all that sort of.
To say though that my granddaughters are doing very well.
But the social skills, you know, it's you see the difference in social skills because they were taught like by a computer, you know, so they don't. So a lot of them are like lacking the skills
and their attention spans. I teach a lot of workshops with elementary school kids and junior high school kids, and I have noticed since COVID a whole different attention span. You know, it's, you know, I'm constantly like
get back. It's very hard to engage them. I teach 1st grade. It's very hard.
For me, the big change happened with the No Child Left Behind Act and all of the testing.
So much testing.
I wouldn't say a word about what I think.
We have to be careful, but there was a lot of testing and pulling students out of their electives to take remedial classes so they could pass the FCAT. And it was so, I just thought it was terrible because here were students in my acting class reading, analyzing, understanding Shakespeare, but they had to take a reading class instead of their acting class because they couldn't pass the reading section on the FCAT.
Because it's all about the test.
And it's all
about the test.
They're not interested in Pluto, you know, they're not interested in that. But and I fought with the school administration, and there was nothing I could do because everybody reports to someone else,
right?
You know, and it all led back to our federal government, which then, trickled down to the state, and everyone just had to follow orders. So that was the turning point for me.
Yeah.
When my students were being taken out of my classes to take, again, I'll go back to math, which I've never been good at. And there were students in my class who weren't good in math. So what did they do? They took them out of their acting class to have them take another math class. If that had happened to me in high school, I may have been a dropout. Yeah, because I dreaded that one math class. If I was in two, things have to change, people.
Yeah, I agree.
It's to get political.
No. But so let's talk about what's your next project. What's your next the next show that you're going to be doing?
Well, this is audition season.
Oh,
so I had a very lucky year. I went from show to show, and I really didn't have much of a break. I was actually in rehearsal for one show while I was performing another one. So that was a lot. But it's audition season, so I'm going through all of the auditions, and I just hope I get cast. So there we go. I knew her when. Yeah.
And you can say it too.
Yeah. So so that's what I'm doing. I'm going through the rounds like everybody else. It's very interesting that you still have to continue to audition. My good friend from high school, Mindy Sterling, who is in Austin Powers.
Yes,
I like that name. Yeah.
She's so incredible. And the last time I saw her out in LA, we're having lunch, and she said, I still have to audition. She said, I still have to go into that casting office, and I walk into a room of 20 other women who look exactly like me. And she said, I still have to audition. And because of her success and her name, I believe she's a household name. Yeah. I can't believe she still has to audition.
I know.
But she does. So
and when people audition, because I just watched it in movies and stuff, they all sit around and they read from a script, and they have to get into character. And all that must be. That's I have a friend that does acting, my friend Rochelle, and she's amazing. I mean, she has perfect pitch, and she tells me stories of things that happen. And she's just, how she can go to a character is just, I mean, I had some theater classes in college that I loved, but it was mostly falling and letting someone catch you, those kind of things, like the trust exercise. And I used to go all the way across campus. I loved the classes. I loved it. But I
was that kid in the corner, what does this have to do with anything? Why does someone have to be squeezing on my stomach, and why do I have to breathe a certain way?
You have to do the
mirror, get a mirror them. I always thought that was.
I could never understand it, although I will admit that, because that's part of your training, that yes, I'm sorry, my students, but yeah, I had my students
some of those things.
My students do those things too. But I also told them, I especially at the School of the Arts, because it was more specialized, where when I taught you, it was drama class, and you got a little bit of everything. At the School of the Arts, the students had a separate acting class, a separate stagecraft class, costuming, everything was separate. So I led them through every single acting technique, Uta Hagen and Strasberg and Chekhov and all of them. And then their senior year, I had them read David Mamet's True or False.
Oh.
And he starts out by saying, if you want to be an actor, don't go to school for it. And learn acting on the stage, learn while you're doing. So my students, they they came in after, I don't know, I assigned them a chapter or whatever. They came in the next day and they're like, why are you having us read it? That's all these things, and you made it sound like these were also important. Now you give us this book that says, don't study acting. And I was like, well, you gotta do what you gotta do. That's the thing about being an artist, any type of artist, you've got to do what works for you, and you've got to find your own style. So I think by giving them that book that some of them absolutely hated and rejected.
I remember Mamet. It's very intense, very raw. He was very raw.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I remember reading. I forgot what I read, but I remember saying, wow.
Oh, he's one of my favorite playwrights because he writes.
It's been a long time.
He writes like people speak.
Exactly.
When you see his dialogue and the way he punctuates everything, you know exactly how to say the line.
I had the best courses. I had playwriting courses, and I love them. I remember I had a crush on one of the teachers. I loved him, and I was like mesmerized by him. In fact, when I went back, I won't say the school, but when I went back, I wanted to see if he was still there, but I don't think he's still taught at the school. But he taught us about a secret moment, and we wrote like scenes. And I'm like, I'm gonna do this. I mean, it didn't happen, but I still remember what it. Well, but I do poetry different, but I still, like, when I watch things now, like movies or whatever, I'm like, oh, there's a secret moment. Like, I still remember the terms you use. Like someone, someone's looking at a letter, or you have so many secret moments in your book, Sheila. Yes. And I'm like, oh, that's the secret moment. Like, I always hear his voice in my head. That's a secret moment.
That's so wonderful.
And timing.
Yeah, that's great.
All these years, I remember that.
Yes.
This has been a fabulous, like, half an hour. That's just flown by.
Yeah.
Do we need to follow?
We could do a follow-up. Yes, we could. We could do. Hey, how about this? We could have you come back. How about like in September? What do you think of that?
That sounds
like
great.
when you're getting ready to go.
And maybe I know what I'm doing. Someone will hire me.
And maybe we could show a clip of something, or we could figure out how to do that. Right?
Do that.
That would be fun. Right?
You can have those clips of my commercials. I'm on TV all the time.
Show. That's a stay with the show.
Now, and yes,
you were in an insurance commercial too. I know because I sent that one to you. Remember that one?
I don't think I saw it. And you're like, yeah, like I haven't seen this yet. Yeah.
Because that's funny because I work at the local television station. So that's how
you've done with your career. That you've written how many novels?
I just did number 35, but I got number 36 like out to the presses, and it'll be out in June. So
there's several. I read one.
I know that. It's about the actor. So that was kind of funny because it's kind of like a autobiographical story, and it's all about kind of a Jewish girl, me, meeting an older man, my husband, and how they, get together, and then she's an actress, which kind of sort of is me.
And you've been at the news station for how long? Is it WPEC?
Yes. WPTV.
WPTV.
Thank you, WPTV, for all the help with the teachers exposing everything that was happening. Thank you. You guys gave us a lot of great coverage. We really appreciate you.
They really did. I was ecstatic about that, and the fact that they're back on the air again, which is another.
And you've been there how long?
It's the 20th year this year. Wow. That I'll be there. I know. It's exciting.
It's very exciting.
Because of what I learned in high school. Honestly, I adored doing all of that stuff in high school and the behind the scenes stuff. Now I do all research, which is great, but the research then helps me write the books. And
I love researching a character, researching a time period and all of that. Yeah.
But we want to thank everybody for being here today. 30. I mean, we could honestly, we could have talked for about another hour.
Teachers and their students.
That's what we have to do it. We have to do a take two, volume 2. What do you call it?
I like that.
Episode 2. I don't know. Whatever.
You have to keep following us, and you have to get other people to follow us, so we can have that follow-up episode and keep sharing, because we want to increase our followers, and we need you guys. Remember, there's no us without you.
That's right. That's right.
That.
Yeah. And remember, it's speakeasy. You know why it's speakeasy? Because you can speak your mind.
That's right.
That's what we do here.
Enjoying the conversation, always.
And remember, our next episode will be in 2 weeks. And that's going to be with cover model and my friend, Christopher John, and who's also a photographer. And wait, he's also an actor. So you're going to have to see him, because he's a fabulous guy. He will be on in 2 weeks, and you guys will love him. And maybe I'll get Bev to, put him in the, you guys be in a show together.
That'd be great. He's a model?
Yes, he's a model.
But you guys stay cool. It's supposed to get really hot this weekend. Summer is here.
Yes.
We're going to be in the 9th. So stay cool. Remember to speak your mind, speak easy. We love you guys. Keep following us and sharing, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thanks.
Thank you for having me.
Everybody's welcome. And we're going.
See you soon. And remember to join us every other Thursday at 5:30 p.m. and speak easy with us.